"It's me, your dad," he said, his voice shaky, like he wasn't sure if I'd slam the door or hear him out. I froze, my hand clamped on the doorknob, the metal biting into my palm. 20 years had passed since I'd seen him to decades. Since he walked out, leaving us to pick up the pieces. Now, here he was on my porch, acting like he belonged. "My name is Lily Carson. I'm 30. An engineer who thrives on solving problems, blueprints, equations, structures. But the one puzzle I could never crack was why my dad abandoned us when I was 10. That day, as he stood before me, the past roared back, and I knew this moment would change everything. This is a story of heartbreak, courage, and finding peace in letting go. Stick with me, because if you've ever carried the weight of someone's absence, you'll feel every step of this, and the ending will leave you lighter. I stood in my doorway, staring at the man who'd once been my world. His face was lined, his frame thinner, the years etched deep. "Why are you here?" I asked, my voice sharper than I meant. He shifted, hands fidgeting. "Lily, I just want to talk, to explain," he said, his eyes pleading. "I know I messed up, but I'm trying to make it right." I crossed my arms, leaning against the frame. Make it right. After 20 years, where were you when Mom was working double shifts, when Ethan was spiraling, when Sophie had to grow up too fast because you left? His shoulders sagged, and for a moment, I saw a flicker of shame. "I didn't mean for it to get so bad," he said softly. "I wasn't in a good place. Neither were we." I snapped, but we didn't get to run. The air between us crackled, memories flooding back, memories I'd buried but never escaped. It wasn't like Dad left without warning. The months before were heavy with tension, like a storm brewing. Even at 10, I felt it. Mom and Dad's arguments growing, louder, sharper. They fought about money, the house, the strain of 3 kids. I'd hear them through the walls at night, their voices rising like a tide. "We're a family, David," Mom would say, her voice breaking. "We're supposed to face this together." "I can't, Elena," Dad would shoot back. "The bills, the pressure, I'm suffocating." One night, Mom's voice turned fierce. "What about the kids? You think they don't feel this?" Those words haunted me because I did feel it every shout, every slammed door. Dad grew distant, his eyes vacant, like he was already gone. Then, one evening, he came to my room. I was coloring, crayons scattered on my bed. "Hey, kiddo," he said, his voice soft but strange. "I'm heading out for a bit. I'll see you soon, okay?" I nodded, confused, believing soon meant days, not decades. That was the last time I saw him until now. Back on my porch, I tightened my grip on the doorknob, the past colliding with the present. "Why now?" I asked, voice cold. He rubbed his neck, a nervous habit I remembered. "I know it's late, Lily, but I want to reconnect. I'm not asking for more than a conversation." My chest tightened, anger mixing with something softer, curiosity. Maybe. Part of me wanted to shut him out, but another part, the part that remembered Ethan's tears, Sophie's forced strength, Mom's exhaustion, kept me rooted. "I can't do this now," I said, voice unsteady. "I need time." He nodded, eyes dropping. "I'll come back in a few days. I hope you'll let me in." I didn't answer, just watched him shuffle down the steps and vanish into the night, leaving me reeling. As the door clicked shut, I grabbed my phone, hands trembling, and called Mom. She answered fast, sensing trouble. "Lily, what's wrong?" "He was here," I blurted. "Dad, at my house." Silence, then her voice, firm but heavy. "He came to me last week. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you hurt." "Why didn't you say anything?" I asked, pacing. I told him no, she said. It's too late for him to waltz back. He left, Lily. You owe him nothing. Her words were a lifeline, but they stirred more questions. He said he's coming back. I said quietly, be careful, Mom warned. He's good at pulling heartstrings. You're stronger than his excuses. I nodded, though she couldn't. See, her words both a comfort and a weight. Next, I called Ethan, my brother, dreading his reaction. He'd battled depression since Dad left, and this could unravel him. Has Dad been to your place? I asked, voice tight. No, he said, stunned. Wait, he showed up at yours and Mom's. Yeah, I said. He wants to reconnect. Ethan scoffed, bitter. Reconnect? Where was he when we were falling apart? He doesn't get to play family now. I called Sophie next, my younger sister, who'd shouldered too much too young. Has Dad tried to see you? I asked. No, she said, voice hard. If he shows up, I've got nothing for him. He lost us years ago. Their anger mirrored mine. But Ethan's pain and Sophie's resolve made me worry he'd find them eventually, days later. Ethan texted, can we talk? It's about Dad. My stomach nodded. When I called, his voice was shaky. I know this sounds crazy, Lily, but I think we should meet him. Just once, all of us? Are you serious? I asked, frustration flaring. You think one talk fixes 20 years? No. He admitted. But I can't stop thinking about it. I need answers, closure, don't you? I hesitated. Did you tell Mom? Sophie, yeah. He said. Mom said no. Sophie said hell no. But I can't face him alone. Lily, please. His plea hit hard. I didn't want to see Dad, but Ethan's pain was real. I'll think about it, I said, voice tight. I'll call you back. That night, we gathered at Mom's, the air thick with tension. Mom sat in her armchair, calm but unyielding. Sophie perched on the couch, arms crossed, her face a wall. Ethan leaned forward, elbows on his knees, eyes pleading. I sat on the love seat, quiet, unsure. Ethan spoke first. I know this is hard, but I think we should meet him. Just once, hear him out. Mom shook her head. Ethan, I get why you need this, but I can't. I've made peace with his absence. I don't need his excuses. Sophie scoffed. He doesn't deserve a second of our time. Why do you care, Ethan? He straightened, voice raw, because I need to know why he left. Why we weren't enough. Even if it's lies, I need to hear it. Mom's face softened. Ethan, he may not give you the truth. People like him rarely do. Sophie glared. I'm not going. If you two want to hurt yourselves, fine. But I warned you. Ethan turned to me, desperate. Lily, will you come? I can't do this alone. I looked at Mom, her eyes heavy with worry. Then, at Sophie's stony resolve, Ethan's pain tipped the scale. I'll go, I said quietly, but only to keep things in check. We listen, and if he crosses a line, we're out. Ethan nodded, relief flooding his face. Mom sighed, be careful. He's good at twisting things. Sophie shook her head, silent but fuming. I didn't know if this was a mistake, but it was happening. That evening, as I cleared dinner dishes, a knock came. Dad stood there, hunched, expectant. Lily, he said softly, I know I shouldn't keep coming, but I need to talk. One chance. I crossed my arms. You can't just show up like this, but find Saturday. Riverside Park, 2:00. Me and Ethan. Mom and Sophie aren't coming. He blinked, surprised, then nodded. Okay, I'll be there. Thank you. This isn't a reunion, I said firmly. It's a conversation. You get one shot. He nodded, voice low. I appreciate it, Lily. I shut the door, the weight of Saturday settling like a stone. The days dragged. Work schematics. Calculations couldn't distract me. What did I want from this? Answers, an apology. Or was I just here for Ethan? Every buzz of my phone made me jump, expecting Dad to cancel or Ethan to back out. But only one text came from Ethan, still on for Saturday. By Friday, nerves had me pacing. Coffee cup in hand, rehearsing words I might say. I almost called Ethan to cancel, but his plea echoed. I'd promised. Saturday morning, I woke early, restless, the clock crawling toward 2. I grabbed my jacket, took a deep breath, and left, ready or not at 1:15. I pulled up to Ethan's apartment. He was outside, pacing, hands in his pockets. He slid into the car, voice tight. Hey, I said, glancing over. Ready? Not even close, he said with a shaky laugh. But that's the deal, right? I nodded, gripping the wheel. Want coffee? We've got time. Yeah, he said, eager for any delay. At a drive-thru, silence hung heavy. What are you thinking? I asked. He stared out the window. I'm scared, not just of what he'll say, but how it'll hit me. What if I feel worse? I handed him his coffee. I've been wondering the same. But we're in this together. If it's bad, we walk. Deal, he said. Clutching the cup like a lifeline at Riverside Park, we spotted Dad on a bench. By the lake, hands clasped tight. His face lit up as we approached, a hesitant smile. Ethan and I exchanged a look, then sat across from him. The silence was suffocating, each of us waiting for someone to break it. Dad cleared his throat. Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure you would. Ethan leaned forward, voice sharp. We almost didn't. So what do you want, Dad? The word Dad made him flinch, like he'd lost the right to it. I just want to explain, he said, hands restless. I know I hurt you, let you down, but it wasn't because I didn't love you. I shook my head, jaw tight. Then why? Because it sure felt like you didn't. He looked at me, eyes heavy. I was drowning, Lily, failing at work, as a husband, a father. I thought leaving would be better for you, that I was the problem. Ethan's voice cracked. Better? You left Mom to scrape by, left us to deal with everything. You think that was better? Dad's shoulders slumped. I know it doesn't make sense now. I was selfish. Thought staying away was a favor. A favor, I said, voice rising. Mom couldn't pay bills. Ethan needed help. Sophie cried herself to sleep. That was your favor. His eyes glistened. I was wrong. I see it now. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just needed to say I'm sorry. Ethan laughed. Bitter? Leaning back. Sorry doesn't fix 20 years of nothing. My throat tightened, anger and pain colliding. The worst part, I said, voice shaking, is we didn't get a choice. We had to stay. To deal with your mess, now you show up, acting like this, is redemption. It's not. Dad nodded, tears falling. I know, but I couldn't live another day without trying to tell you I've thought of you every day. Ethan stood, voice trembling. We didn't have the luxury of thinking about you. We had to live it. The talk spiraled. Dad's apologies, Ethan's anger, my pointed questions. It felt like chasing closure we'd never find. What do you expect from us? I said, cutting through. You think sorry changes anything? We've lived without you. We don't need you now. His face crumpled, but I pressed on. You weren't there not for Mom, Ethan, Sophie, or me. It's too late. Ethan glanced at me, his eyes mirroring my mix of rage and resolve. He stood straighter. I thought this would give me closure, he said, voice low. But I Don't need you anymore. We closed that chapter without you. I looked at Dad, smaller now, hands trembling. I don't hate you, I said, surprising myself. But there's no place for you in our lives. I'm sorry, but it's done. He opened his mouth, then stopped, nodding, gaze falling. I understand, he whispered. Ethan and I stood, walking away without another word, leaving him on the bench. The weight of his absence behind us. The drive to Athens was silent. The hum of the engine, our only companion. Neither of us reached for words, both processing the finality. At his apartment, he broke the quiet. Thanks for being there, Lily. I couldn't have done it alone. I nodded, offering a small smile. We did what we needed. Now we move on. He hesitated, then nodded. Take care, Lily, he said, eyes meeting mine before he stepped out, driving home. The silence felt lighter, like a burden lifted. We faced the past, not for Dad, but for us. It wasn't joy, but it was closure. At home, I sank onto the couch, staring at a photo of Mom, Ethan, Sophie, and me, our family, whole without him. The puzzle of why he left didn't matter anymore. We'd built something stronger in his absence. As I scrolled through texts from Ethan and Sophie, checking in, I felt peace. The weight of 20 years was gone, and we were free to write our story without him.